We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
Paul, do you know about the early days at the Kimberley diamond mines? Do you know what they did to the native workers who stole diamonds? Don't worry, they didn't kill them. That would be like junking a Mercedes just because it had a broken spring. No, if they caught them, they had to make sure they could go on working, but they also had to make sure they could never run away. The operation was called hobbling. Almost done. Just one more.
Recorded to you live from Rob Liefeld's Pouches Are Us, where we just can't seem to find the shoe department. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast. Here we are. We're back. All right, another week, another show. Let's take some attendance. Let's see who's here.
Roll call.
Dom. No. Ed.
Hey.
And then brother Bob. We heard him already.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, there he is. There he is. He was hiding behind a bush.
You sneaky so-and-so.
Gotta keep everybody on their toes a little bit.
You just got to check, you know? You got to check in with the audience. Got to make
Maybe
sure they're
Bob
there.
won't be here today.
Imagine.
I think I've only ever missed one show.
So this is the Wicked Theory Podcast. I'm Bill Sweeney. You don't know me, but that's fine. And every week we get together. I get a couple of friends together. In case of Bob, family. But we get together and we break down some geeky nerd stuff.
Break it down.
We break it down. We do a lot of news. We do a lot of nerdy news digestion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bit. I mean, right? I mean. Mm-hmm. Okay, good answers. All right, glad to see everybody. just agree. Just blow smoke up my ass.
Sure.
Sorry, be like,
Okay.
yeah, boss. You're exactly right, Chief.
I'm waiting to get into the meat of it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get into the official business out of the way then, so you can get all meaty. This is episode 59, and just in case anybody forgot, we moved the emails to the back.
That's 59, you poi voids.
Yes,
5-9.
10 more to go for you to get naughty about your numbers, I guess.
And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had this new format now.
Yeah.
This can be the last time we say we have a new format.
Yeah, there you go. Because next one will be 60, and now it's just the regular thing moving forward. I don't have to explain anymore.
This is what we're doing now.
That's just where stuff is found,
Yep,
where it lies. So we do another show. If you're into the Preacher books, the Preacher comics, if you've read those, if you're watching the show, maybe you'll dig our other show, Preacher vs. Preacher VS Preacher, if you're spelling it out somewhere. That's on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play Music. We're like everywhere, this show, Wicked Theory, and that show is only like in those 3 spots. It's just easier to maintain, I figure. And I got everybody covered, I think, with that. People, I'm going to tell you again, I know I keep saying it, but follow us on Mixlr.
Oh, yeah. Never know.
MIXLR. We go live there, and I think we're going to do one real soon. Maybe next week's show, we'll just pop the Mixlr on. And go live during the show, see how it goes, see what happens, see if anybody pops up in the chat room there.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Look for the tweets. Maybe you might need to take off.
Yeah, come along next week, and maybe you can try and throw us off.
Live, yeah.
Let's get some stupid questions live. Stupid questions live next week. Well, that sounds like a thing.
Yeah.
All right, so...
I think I had a teacher who used to tell me that there were only stupid questions. Just shut up and listen.
There you go.
The New York education system, you know?
Anything to get control of the room. You know what I mean? The classrooms would get away from them very easily.
Oh, yeah. I've had erasers thrown at me.
Oh,
Sure.
no.
That's it? You're doing good then.
Chalk.
Worst version of that story, when you're in high school and they get a coverage.
Okay.
Sub just comes in and they're not teaching anything. They're just... You're going to sit there, do your assignment.
Yeah, just be quiet.
And I'm going to sit there and read the paper.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I mean, for you were in Catholic school, so
yeah.
Kids were probably better behaved more often. But I'm sure they got away with their own slice of getting away with murder too.
When you saw that opening, and this was a first year teacher who started in the middle of the year.
Oh yeah, I got you.
And he writes on the board in big, enormous letters.
Yeah.
Just N. oh, and he circles it, and then goes, "This is the answer to every question you have for me for the next 45 minutes."
Right. Just
And
don't
then
fucking bother
all
me.
you need is that one kid to go, "Are you a man?"
Someone just to break it.
And that was it.
That was it. He already lost. He already lost. So yeah. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And then if you're done, you want to go, you can go. Just saying, or you can stick around for a little bit more of this nonsense. Usually, what we do now is like if we had a guest, we would give him a quiz. But I guess we'll just go straight to meanwhile because it's just us guys.
We're kind of on a quest for a guest. Is that what's going on right now?
I don't know about that, but.
Running out of friends to put on the show?
No, just like it was a last minute thing where Dom had some stuff he had to do.
Yeah.
So it was like do I bother trying to put out the call or
Yeah.
anything? And it was like very last minute, sadly. So I mean, nothing against him. It was a life thing. Life just happens. You know what I mean?
Meanwhile,
You've got something in the notes here, Ed. That is I didn't OJ
Yeah.
juice the juice.
The juice.
Tropicana?
No, the old
Simpson.
Simpson.
OJ, Made in America. Is a
Excellent.
5-part documentary series. Actually, they were airing it. The last episode, I think, airs tonight, but all of them are already on demand and online through Watch ESPN.
Fair enough.
And I know this isn't the kind of thing we usually talk about, but
Well, first of all, this is not to be confused with that OJ
the
thing.
people
with,
versus OJ Simpson.
Right, with the Cuba
Yeah.
Gooding Jr. and actors.
John Travolta.
This is a full-on doc series.
Yeah,
right,
this
right.
is a doc series, and it's not just the trial, although that's a huge part of it.
Sure, but it's following like his career, his life,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah, and the thing that to me that really struck me is just the scope of his career and how enormously popular this guy was in the late 60s through the 70s.
Yeah, he
as
was number
just-
one, man.
Just this superstar. And kind of when you
He
look...
was the superhero because he broke 2,000 yards.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, nobody had ever come anywhere near that at that
Right.
point. And he just blew away everybody. So
Mhm.
it was like he was Superman.
But also the idea that, even before he became a pro,
Mhm.
between college and the pros, he signed a deal with Chevrolet. To be a pitchman, and he was the spokesperson for Hertz Rent-A-Car,
Right.
and basically he basically paved the way for Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods to be.
All these sponsorships. His was probably one of
Yeah.
the most, written, discussed outside of Joe. Before him, Joe Namath probably for Joe Namath's endorsements and stuff too.
Yeah.
But
But it wasn't a common thing.
Mhm.
Right.
Well,
Right.
Well,
Right.
I'm more so for a black athlete.
Fair enough,
Just
fair
to be the number one spokesperson
right,
in
right,
the country.
right.
And just kind of when you see the way he lived his life and the symbol that he became out of that trial, which
Sure.
which was not about him at all.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
It's just very ironic and tragic in a way to see the direction that story goes.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, besides just the initial, the actual upfront tragedy of the murders and all that, but there is something that can be said about for the, just the downfall of anyone who ends up as that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And on that track, sadly,
Yeah.
where it's like, everything couldn't be better. Like, you know what I mean? And left turn city, like.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing. Even if you're not interested, if you're too young and don't really know anything about that story,
Right.
I know it's long. It's 5 parts and it's 7.5 hours.
But you're telling me it's really good.
Yeah,
it's really
it's-
well done, put together kind of doc.
Yeah, it's almost like Making a Murderer, where if you just start watching it, you won't be able to stop.
It's captivating.
yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm gonna check it out. I did hear. I've seen some scuttlebutt. Some positive stuff floating around about it, and it's on ESPN, so it's not on my radar. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm getting a reminder that it's on or anything. So, cool. I know, cool.
So I'm just surprised I didn't think it might be a little too early after the other one to put on another OJ thing.
Yeah, because I'm sure they were at some level in production at the same time. So ESPN, I'm sure. They might have pushed it back, you know what I mean, to give breathing room between the actual acted production.
True.
Yeah, and like documentaries like this, they take like 2 or 3 years to make.
Yeah,
So-
all that
there's a lot
archival.
of digging and a lot of footage
Editing,
you got to make. a lot of
making the
editing.
story out of all this pile of
You know,
Yeah.
facts.
they interviewed like 75 different people,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
insane.
All right, and that's on ESPN's On Demand. Is that where
yeah,
it's at?
yeah.
That's
If
all
you go,
we-
if you know ESPN On Demand, that they're gonna have it, and Watch ESPN is their app.
Cool, cool. Jigging it out. Yeah, I got nothing really in there besides a couple more episodes into House of Cards, and just really can't. Obviously, if you're late to the boat on that one, like if all the other shows that you're probably late, like I am, you're missing out.
You still in season 1?
I'm still in season 1.
Okay.
But I'm a couple of episodes further along than I was last time I mentioned it. Not too many. Not as many as I wanted to be. But it was one of these things where it was like, oh, now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Can I really put on another episode right now? Is that a smart move?
Yeah.
As bad as I want to?
Yeah.
Because I already watched the last one because I was like, I'll just watch 10, 20 minutes of it. Yeah, okay. Like that fucking happens. Like that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
How-
doesn't happen.
How's Doug Stamper doing? That's my favorite character. His chief of staff.
He's good. He's good. You know, it's a shot. I know that I haven't really gotten into like the real fun and meat of it yet, and it definitely feels like a show where it's going for some of that shit. Like it feels like it's on a trajectory kind of a show, which is good. You know, it's not slow burn in any way, but you
No.
feel like there's a ratcheting, there's a tension building.
You see,
I don't want to give stuff away, but
Yeah, no,
we'll
but
talk off
it's
mic.
the
maybe.
kind of thing you see all these little things go into place, and then about 2/3 of the way through the season, when
Yeah.
you have that turn and you realize what he's really aiming at. you
Yeah,
just
well,
go,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I think when you just finally see, oh no, that's kind of been a plan a little bit.
yeah.
It's like, oh, all right. So, because he makes this decree in the first episode that feels like it kind of gets lost a little bit. You know, he doesn't go back to it. So once I was kind of told that, I was like, all right, there's a plan. So, yeah. So outside of that, for me, that's about it for what I've been watching and stuff. I'm rereading Preacher, the books. I'm having a blast with that. That's obvious to anybody who's listened to this show before or more than 3 times.
Yeah, I'm into the last book myself.
Yeah, into the last book. Cool. And then I guess we'll just jump right into news because, you know, I had a note in here for Dom, but he's not here today. And, well, you know, c'est la vie, c'est la vie.
All right. So let's start with TV news.
Oh yeah?
Oh, yeah?
That's official? That's what you decree that?
That's my job, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Okay. So,
So you're the king? You
yeah.
decree things.
He's a news king.
HBO has released descriptions for the final for the finale
Released no descriptions.
for the last 2 Game of Thrones episodes, and those descriptions are completely blank.
Oh, is that what it was? They
Yeah.
officially released a blank
Yeah,
doc
you see,
kind of
you
thing?
see, I try to tease and let him in and bring him in, and then I jab him.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just reading that there was the word no in the description here.
Yeah.
And I kind of spoiled your little thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, but basically whatever's going
Want
on.
to edit that out and do it again?
No,
it's too late.
No, it's probably
Yeah.
already
It's too late.
It's probably already too much editing.
No, and plus I'm not gonna let
Gee, I'm
Bill go a
sorry.
moment without egg on his face. Here we go.
Who? What? Oh yeah. Me? But yeah. So I'm kind of hyped about that. I mean, I don't know I'm the only one right here watching Game of Thrones, but big stuff. Big battle coming up in this one. And then if the big battle is in this episode, because there's only 2 left, then how do you gonna get bigger than that in the finale? What? So anyway, yeah. That's good stuff. Psyched.
Do they have an after show?
They do, but it's only on HBO Go.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it's on the on demand, probably too, but it's like After Thrones or something like that.
Gotcha.
There's 2 quiet, very well spoken gentlemen who discuss the show, and they like, yeah, man. There's like a milk toasty kind of energy in the room,
Okay.
but they know their stuff. They know their stuff.
It sounds very, very cool in a very, very
Yeah,
of way.
yeah, a little bit. You're catching on.
Every 2 minutes, we're going to sound a bell. That's the sound to check if you're still alive while listening to our radio.
Fair enough. All right, what else we got?
All right. So big news out of the Sci-Fi Network.
Well, I don't know about big, but it's something, so I tossed it in.
Yeah. So next month, Sci-Fi Network will be broadcasting live from this year's San Diego Comic-Con.
Which I think is a great idea.
Yeah, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. We mentioned it more. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've announced who will be the host
Aha.
of those shows.
Of those, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it will be actor Will Arnett.
Oh my God! I heard he's like your fave.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Although-
So will you be watching any of this footage, this broadcasting? Will you
I mean,
sample? Will you
know,
dabble?
unless he does it the whole thing as Lego Batman, I'm gonna have a really rough time with this.
Here's the thing: as skilled and talented as he is, I think there are going to be brief moments of train wreckage. Not in a bad way. Not that I think it'll go off the rails.
Yeah.
But I think it might end up being a lot for him to juggle. I don't know how much time they're gonna have him on camera and stuff, but we're doing a lot of live things, and if they're smart, they'll throw him on the floor of the con, or he'll have some on the floor interaction on some level with people behind a rope at least, or something maybe. But
see, like, I hope they
with
don't.
a mic and a camera.
I hope they don't do that. I hope they just he's Billy Bush on Access Hollywood. They just he stands there. This is the news, and you don't really need to know.
He
who
just
I am.
segs it in and out. He just kind of segs in and out from the booth up in the top. And he's just like, all right, now we're gonna go to Sheila down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Sheila, what do you got? And that's him.
Yeah. I mean, that's just he's got one of those very.
So you want him to channel his Pat Sajak?
Yeah.
Just host.
Yeah.
Don't try so
host.
hard.
I mean, he kind of does look a little bit like a thin Pat Sajak.
I could see him being a host kind of guy if he had never been actorish. You know what I mean?
Well, because he's
He's a little dry like that.
I'm rough on the guy, and and
I'm trying to get it out of you.
I know he works really, really hard, and that's what I don't like about him is that I can tell that he's trying really hard.
Yeah, that's one thing I do get about him. Like, like his comedy, he's trying.
Yeah.
A lot of
And-
it you can feel like.
And it's just like that's like and people yell at me because I know I sometimes have picky tastes. I'm kind of known for that on the show.
Sure.
But one of the reasons I couldn't get into Arrested Development was just him.
Really?
Just like, and
Okay.
I like a lot of that show.
All right.
Like the whole thing with the banana stand was brilliant.
Yeah.
But
all the stuff with Job was not landing for you.
Just like every time he was on screen, I wanted to punch him in the face.
All that
Yeah.
low. Oh, I made a terrible mistake.
Or even like when he's guest starring on 30 Rock. And I was a big fan of that show too.
Is there something about his raspiness?
Well, it's like that was the thing is he's trying so hard, and Alec Baldwin is completely effortless and runs fucking circles around him, and it was just
That's all he does, Alec. When Alec gets to play an Alec type.
yeah.
Oh, come on! Like you're not holding up. Fucking
Yeah.
Even Ms. Lemon has a problem with
Yeah.
that.
Although I will say, I think Lego Batman may be the most faithful adaptation of Batman ever put on a movie screen.
So that is the one thing
Yes.
you do dig his Lego Batman.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably because I don't have to see his face.
Right, and you can just get lost in the whole thing of it.
Yeah.
Because I even forgot when I was watching it. I'm like, oh, it's Will Arnett. Which now thinking back, it makes perfect sense because he's got this kind of whole rasp little bit thing going on.
Now you guys got me thinking about Alec Baldwin's Batman.
Now that I want to see. All right, so what's next on the list there, kid?
Okay, so
I thought this, I put this in for myself, really a little bit, but go ahead.
Arrow.
Yeah, the show I don't watch.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be getting a new hero.
A couple, actually.
Yeah, a couple.
One's not
of new
mentioned in that
heroes.
headline there. But
Yeah.
just read it, I'll second.
So basically, Josh Segura is going to be playing Adrian Chase.
Now, Adrian Chase, for those who don't know, is a character called Vigilante from the 80s and 90s. Like, really didn't stick too well in the DC lore. He's had some appearances and stuff like that, but he's kind of like DC's answer to the Punisher. He popped up around that time, a gun-packing vigilante guy.
This is very different from the other version of Vigilante that I'm aware of. That's a cowboy.
Yes. I believe they have the brand on that too. So that might be.
Who was in the Justice League cartoon?
There you go.
10 years ago.
Right. This was the modern day Dirty Harry era. Make a wish. Make a wish. Make a death wish. There's a whole new foundation, the Make a Death Wish Foundation. You're dying, kid. Anybody you want us to kill for you before you go? Mrs. Glockenberg from math.
My third grade teacher.
Yeah, all teachers. It would just be a teacher assassination club. Is really what that would be.
Mrs. Orenstein from the second grade. I had to go to the bathroom that
You know
one
how hard
time.
it was for me
and she
not
made
to come
me
up with a
piss
real
my
teacher's
pants.
name?
I'm gonna have you get her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was so hard for me not to come up with a real teacher's name when I was doing that just before. Like, all my teachers came into my head, all the ones I hate. I'm like, I can't drop that name. I can't drop that name. I can't drop that name.
No, you can't.
That's not
Why
nice.
not?
No, I could.
They're all dead anyway.
Probably, right? Or I could just go for ones that I know are definitely dead.
They're either dead or senile.
I should just name the principal. I should be like, yeah, kill Miss Nola.
What? Let's see. Third grade. I was 8, so that's 40 years ago.
Well, I don't do math. We've established this. But anyway, back to the back to the story, I should say. So also, too, another character they're bringing on. It's the season of the Vigilantes, it seems, because they're bringing in Wild Dog, who's from the same basic era as Vigilante, kind of late 80s, mid to late 80s stuff. I don't know if he ever really kind of got a good chance to stick, but he's another one. He's another street vigilante Punisher.
You're right. Well,
do
you think this might all be a result of the way or the Punisher was received on Daredevil?
I actually think it's more of a response. Basically, they want to get away from the mysticism of last season and do more like hard ground street thugs.
It's definitely a combination of these things. They've like, it's like, how do we do what Ed said? And it's like, well, what do we have in the stable? And it's like, well, these two are great for that. Like, obviously it'll be more him having to get back into the street. He hasn't been focusing on the street, and now there's a rise of some vigilantes in this town. And, so there's that. And it's I think it shows that you can do gun-toting vigilantes to a degree. The Punisher stuff, it kind of shows how, to a degree, you can kind of play with the gravitas. But I mean, there's a different kind of gravitas or seriousness on Punisher Daredevil, which is played so like gritty. It's almost like horror movie level. Yeah. Versus Arrow, which has got not camp, but I mean it does feel superhero world now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Totally.
Yeah. The whole Punisher thing with Daredevil was very noir.
Yes.
Yeah, very noir.
They're trying to play that so heavy. It's like,
I expected Sam Spade to come out of the woodwork.
Whereas like Arrow plays it straight, but it's a little lighter, and it's the CW, so everyone has to be
running
pretty.
around in a green suit, so it's got to be a little lighter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. All right, so then, so I'm excited for that. That actually might get me to tune in, at least to check out these characters, at least when they break through costume and stuff like that. Although, of course, the costumes will leak the 2 weeks, 3 months before anyway, so maybe I won't have to watch it. All right, so this one's for Bob, if you want, but he probably already knows.
A little bit of bad news. Did you? Well, he's gonna know anyway. Might as well.
They replaced Ruth Negga?
No. Orphan Black has announced that its next season will be its final season.
That's a good thing, because this season I was barely watching and I was probably not going to watch next season until I saw the finale for this season yesterday.
Okay, and that helped kind of right the ship, we'll say?
It definitely shook things up. I mean, they messed up. They had this whole storyline going on that got overly convoluted and military. Okay. And they had to get rid of that. So they spent most of this season rebuilding.
Course correcting kind of a thing.
Yeah. So early on, there was a lot of there's a lot of culling going on, and then they had to tell a story real quick to kind of get everyone up to speed. Then they had to pull something early enough so that they could do a major twist in the end to have a good reveal.
Okay, fair enough.
For the end of the season that could lead into next season.
Right.
And being a little more attentive than the average person, I guess, who watches TV.
Okay, fair enough.
I kind of caught on.
Sure. And it's probably something that they telegraphed it a little too hard for a viewer like you or anybody here.
Yeah, I think it wasn't bad, but I think the whole, I'll just say I'll call it the caster storyline. Okay. Because there's male clones were involved in military. They were the caster side.
Fair enough.
Right, and the women clones were leader, but that's another story.
Okay.
Anyway, so they had to get rid of those guys.
Gotcha. Okay. They had to kind of clean up this whole thing that they
set up. But then they kind of had to leave a little something so that it looked like, okay, they didn't,
Yeah. It was almost we didn't fuck up. A little bit.
They kept, one of the people was involved with it, and another clone, you know what I mean?
I gotcha.
Things just felt too convenient, too quick.
Okay. Whereas
You
it
know?
wasn't a show that was really kind of doing that kind of
Right.
thing.
I mean, they were kind of like trying to do maybe with 2 seasons worth of stuff
Mm-hmm.
in one 10-episode season.
Okay. All right. I got you.
You know, so things were like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like,
It's like we got a lot to do. We got a lot to clean up,
it
a lot
kind
to
of
set
felt like
up.
the last
and-
Star Wars movie.
Right. Fair enough.
They,
Right.
need,
Right.
they need some breathing room.
Well, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully they'll
so-
have enough of that now going into the last season. Especially if it's considered, if it's the last season, then
Yeah.
maybe it'll be well considered and
Well,
planned.
yeah, but they got rid of the main interest. Well, they kind of did just bring it back. The main interest was of the story.
Okay.
The main thing that kept everybody like on edge.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of got rid of that this last season because they were chasing loose ends.
Right. But it's set up
So,
now.
Yeah, so I think they're good. They're set up for a good ending.
Cool.
So I hope.
Fair enough. Well, at least right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I wasn't sure if you had heard about that, so I want to make sure that went your way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
It's okay.
Cool. And then the next one we got is Common, rapper, actor, Common, cast
Carpenter.
as Black Samurai. And where is it? There's no actual network attached
it
yet,
has
right?
not found a network yet, but it will be executive produced by Andre Gaines and RZA of the Wu-Tang
That's
Clan.
my boy, local hero.
Yes.
Really?
Staten Island native.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be based on the Mark Olden novels from the 70s.
Right. Which I was not familiar with, but
Mhm.
when I read the descriptions and all that stuff, I was like, oh, why was this not made sooner?
Yeah.
Like, really, to be honest with you. I don't know that Common is known for his martial arts expertise, but I'm assuming that he is in training as we speak, probably,
Oh,
most
yeah.
likely. But he's a guy who's needed kind of something like this. He feels built for it, like a little bit. You know what I mean?
And-
His
Yeah, but did you see Common on his? He had this 1 season reality TV show where you had to like build furniture, and he was like the average man. His point of view, and he was one of the judges. but he
Oh,
was the
yeah? I
average
didn't
man.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of wooden himself.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
So-
he's alive for the party necessarily, but
No.
that's a
No.
thing that you can play towards in a show where he's the strong, quiet, silent, kind of like, that's the type that he kind of tends to play in some of these movies too. Where it's like,
and he's a good actor. Smoking Aces. He's done some good movies.
Yeah, he has been in some stuff. He's been in Fast and Furious ones, hasn't he? One of them.
maybe.
Yeah, and American Gangster.
Yeah, I thought it was like Fast 6 or.
Actually, he's going to be playing Monster T in Suicide Squad coming up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he's in
Mhm.
that. Correct.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe things are looking up for him.
well, things that definitely are. I mean, that's what's strange too is he's had a pretty good track record from the jump as far as his acting roles go.
Yeah.
Obviously coming from a certain
Yeah,
amount of celebrity before that helps out, but he's been picking good stuff for a long time. So I'm excited to see where that lands, what network picks it up, and if they actually shoot for something that's like. They're probably not going to shoot for network, but are they going to shoot maybe for more like hard cable or streaming kind of thing?
they're
Right.
they're describing it as a black Jason Bourne.
Right.
Um,
Fair enough.
So, I'm guessing they're probably going to shoot for something like an FX or an AMC.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. FX, AMC,
Yeah,
or even into.
FX would gobble that up. That
Oh
would
yeah,
be like-
FX needs some stuff, man. Let
Yeah.
me tell you. All right, so after that, there's a little bit about Legends of Tomorrow in the news here. Legends of Tomorrow's got a season 2 villain coming up, but who is it? What's going on?
Well, they're saying it's going to be a little bit of a mystery. Like we won't know who the main big villain is until
Mystery Day.
until like a third of the way through the season, sort of like what they've been doing on the Flash the last 2 years.
Okay.
But that they have said that it will involve the Thanagarians.
So I guess it's safe to say that Vandal Savage is like done. He's done.
Spoilers for the finale. Fast forward like 15 seconds.
I mean, but he's the thing that the show is predicated on. So if we're telling people that next season we'll have a different villain,
Well, the finale ends with them killing him in 3 different time periods.
that's right. We
Yeah,
did mention
so-
the time zones.
So he's done.
right.
He's done. You know.
now.
Yeah.
So Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're all
Yes.
like, "Well, we could just leave each other, but you know what? We're gonna stick around." And actually, the Hawkman and Hawkgirl just said, "You know what? We're gonna do our own thing."
Right.
You know,
In the other room. You share them?
No, like you guys can go time traveling again. We're gonna do our own thing.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna stick here in 2016.
We're gonna perch.
Yeah. And then they're about to get on the Wave Rider, and then another time ship comes out of nowhere.
Oh no!
And then a guy runs out and says, "My name is Rex Tyler.
Yes, right. Yes,
I'm here
yes,
from the
yes,
Justice
yes.
Society of America. If you
This
get
is not
on
a-
that,
This episode of the Wicked Theory podcast is not a rerun. We had
Yeah.
this conversation before.
yeah." So basically, our man shows up and tells them, "You get on there, you're gonna die."
You're out of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you. He's
Yeah.
our man.
Yeah.
He's got everybody's punch card, is what you're telling me.
Oh yeah.
He's clocking.
Mm-hmm.
So in movie stuff, but kind of comic book stuff, J. Michael Straczynski's comic book series from the 90s, I believe. Maybe late 90s even. Rising Stars has been picked up by MGM. And this is one of these kinds of like superhero world all onto its own. It's got archetypes. I forget what the initial setup on it is, how it's different. But like, you know, there's the superhero Superman kind of type, there's the Captain America kind of type, there's, you know, all these kind of archetypes kind of thing, and it's his own spin, and it's got a certain element of being grounded, and I forget what the actual hook is. Ed might be able to refresh me a little bit on it. But it ran for a while, and I think he might even still be releasing stuff now and then.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Like, this is the worst description that they're giving here in this article.
Okay.
Is Rising Stars tells the story of a special group of people who come together as the result of an extraordinary event.
Okay.
The group is able to charge
Taxes.
to change the world far behind normal and into something totally unimaginable.
Beyond. Should be.
Thank you, Heroic Hollywood.
Yeah,
Did you get this a few issues of this?
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of this.
It's a top.
I actually
cap.
got issue 1 of Vigilante that we mentioned before too. A couple of copies. Like when I went to my comics, I was like, why do I have 2 copies of this? I was very surprised. But yeah, I mean, I think I have some initial run stuff of that. I remember reading it and kind of liking it. Just didn't stick with it.
Mhm.
It was during a phase where there was a lot of stuff coming out, a lot, and I was buying way too much. But not that anything's changed. Yeah, so I think there was a little bit more of a grounding to the actual hook of the of this world that he had built up. But J. Michael Straczynski is the guy behind Babylon 5, if I could learn how to talk, and he's got tons of other credits. But it should be really interesting. MGM could probably use something superhero-y, but it doesn't have that name recognition like other things. So it's gonna have to swim on its own in making a name for itself.
With his name behind it,
yeah, but
it's probably going to get a little bit bigger push than someone just coming into
think
their own would get. You know,
it's gonna have to bring in some more name talent. It's not as strong in the cultural lexicon as, like, say, Watchmen even is. Like Watchmen, at least because that's such a lauded book. Even as a comic, it's still got then a far wider reach kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, plus you got to remember it's more of a British thing, so overseas it's huge.
What is
Watchmen?
No. I mean, Alan Moore wrote it, but I mean, it's written. You know, it's Charleston Comics characters. It's all DC owned. I mean, DC. That's work for DC. That was DC put that out.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to have been huge at some point in England, because a couple of shows I watch on BBC America, they mentioned it very highly.
Because it's Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Like Alan Moore.
Yeah. Oh, it's very popular in Britain.
Yeah.
In
and of itself.
Yeah, but it wasn't created in Britain. I think that's what Bill was saying.
Yeah.
No.
That's
Well,
what
I was just trying to remark about the whole feel of it.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that going on though. It does. It does. And with this thing, I wouldn't say it has that kind of. At least because of the art and stuff like that. Like, whereas Watchmen's got like a very super serious kind of more mature tone. This feels a little more mainstreamy comic book superhero stuff. At least with the art and the approach to the story stuff. Like, you know, it's superheroes a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. But yeah, excited. I mean, interested to see what happens with it.
Speaking of superheroes.
Yeah, what do you got next?
So evidently, for the Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
Producers had to pay $10,000.
Oh my gosh!
To use B. Arthur's image.
Oh,
I read this,
which I don't remember seeing.
It was on his shirt in the scene in the bar.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Early on, he was wearing a shirt with B. Arthur's picture
Yeah.
on it.
Now,
He had to pay $10,000 to be able to do that to her estate.
those of you not in B. Arthur, known most prominently for Maude and the Golden Girls, was an actress.
Yes.
Passed away in 2009. Ryan Reynolds was friends with one of her sons, Daniel Sachs, who's also a set designer, and gave permission to use it in exchange for a $10,000 charity to an donation to an undisclosed charity.
See, I thought I had. I forgot that they had changed it. I thought B. Arthur was still on the Comic Book Jones Funny Money that you get, but it's actually this right now. It's Orville Redenbacher. Jiffy Papa's crap. Here's $5, bully for you. But yeah, that's the little rebate thing they do at my local comic shop. They make their own money and then put dead celebs on it.
And they have their own podcast, don't they?
They do.
Which you
I,
host?
well, I do, and you used to
Yes, I did.
at one point.
At one point.
And now I host it, and it's
And you're doing a fine job.
thank you, sir. I appreciate you blowing that smoke directly up my ass.
Now, make rings now.
WCBJ Radio, if anybody's interested in looking that up.
Check it out. I actually just listened to the last episode today.
Did you?
Yeah.
And what did you think? I did some mix work on that, actually.
Yes.
I went to the shop and the next day, and I was like, if I'm going to be here, let me actually bring some volume spikes down, and let me clean up some of these segues and edit out some stupid stuff that I said. And
Well, it was nice to know that the guests still can't talk into the mic.
no, well, now the problem is that we had to X out all the Samson mics. We're using one ball mic, and next week I'm going to bring that one instead of the ball mic they use.
Oh, okay.
Because since I sit behind it, I sound like I am way
Yes, you do.
fucking far away. I sound like I'm in another room, but I'm like just same distance from it as Sacco is, but because he's facing it, as much as it's a ball mic,
Yeah.
Well,
it
Sacco's
doesn't.
also a very loud talker.
He definitely does have volume, but I'm projecting too back there because I know that it's not picking me up, and it's still just I can't,
Yeah.
I sound too
So you're
far
gonna
away.
go to 2? You're gonna go to 2?
No, I'm just gonna bring that one because that one's got multiple settings on it, and at least with that, I might be able to play with it a little bit and figure something out. And I think it's a little bit stronger of a mic overall than the one that they have.
Well, that's definitely a serious mic.
Yeah, I mean it's the same company that makes. I'm pretty sure the one they have is a Yeti also.
It's a blue snowball.
It's a it's a blue. This is a blue Yeti.
The listeners are loving this.
They're
right
loving
now.
this podcast talk. Palmer's eating this up.
Oh,
Palmer's like,
man.
oh man, tell me more. Let me write this down. Mic specs. Anyway,
I know I'm going to get grilled on this when I finally get interviewed by that schmuck.
So anyway, back to the
love
podcast that we're doing now.
I love you, Palmer. More news.
Okay.
All right. So The Conjuring 2 came out this weekend.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
You did against my express direct suggestion.
Yeah,
I guess.
what's funny is,
it wasn't in order.
I texted both Bill and my sister Irene asking, do I need to see Conjuring 1 before I see Conjuring 2? And both of you had the exact same response, which was...
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
I
don't remember how I
do
phrased
you
it.
really need to see either?
Right, okay. Yes. Right. There's either necessary, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did send a tweet out tagging our friend Grant Markham because I know he's into horror movies, so he may have a better perspective, and he still hasn't responded to it. This was about a week ago. So.
Fair enough. Maybe that's just how far low this movie registered for him.
And it wasn't so much that I wanted to see Conjuring. It was more just like I didn't really want to see Warcraft. Not yet.
I was there, and I knew that I had to see something. I needed my fix.
Yeah, it's a sickness.
Does Warcraft end with the words "game over"?
I hope so. I really do.
Now I hope so.
But yeah,
maybe that dying Pac-Man sound.
Well, if it's Warcraft, it'll never say game over. It'll say something else like now logging off or signing off, but the game never ends.
But The Conjuring
Insert quarters to continue.
Yeah, The Conjuring was okay.
Okay.
It wasn't giant. I mean, it had scary moments, but
All right.
but
But you're an adult, so that's hard. to be scared?
No. It was my kind of horror movie, which was, it had a story and it made sense.
Okay.
And all of the scares came out of the narrative.
Okay.
It wasn't just we're going to shock you and show you
And
giant
jump
blood.
scares and
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it's just the cat. You know what I mean? That kind of shit.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And it was the kind of thing I'm sure horror fans probably think it's hacky, but I enjoyed it.
So why are we
Because they've announced that the nun
of
character,
all things?
It's actually a ghost of a nun, is going to they're developing.
Isn't that a CBS show coming next fall? Ghost of a Nun?
I don't know. I
It's
don't think so.
no, okay.
No.
It sounds like something.
No. They're developing a spin-off for that
Okay.
character, which is kind of weird because I'll
Is
spoil
that
it
the
for you right
okay.
now.
Okay.
We don't know anything.
So that's what makes it easy for them, I guess. It's like, oh, what's the one thing people take away? That nun was creepy. Okay.
She stands there and she screams. That's it.
You know what it is, man? It's probably because I've seen the picture of it, and it's probably somebody going, oh, wow, that's a great visual. We can build around that.
Mhm.
And it's like, is it really a great visual?
Yeah.
It's not the girl from The Ring. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's not anything so amazing. It's creepy, but I don't think it's like so resonating where it's like iconic almost or anything like that. Like we can build a franchise on that alone. Good luck. Have fun. Next, we got that we heard from the web that, oddly enough, that Donald Glover is actually signed on for the next Spider-Man movie. They signed a couple people on, but Donald Glover signed on. Now, the reason that's kind of interesting, I guess, for web peoples is that for a while there was hope amongst web fans that maybe Donald Glover would have gotten picked up to be Miles Morales.
That was a huge campaign about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, when he was on the tail end of fitting the age range for playing a 14 or 15-year-old Miles Morales. But anyway, so now the speculation on who he's going to be playing, and then Bob was just being gross, and then who's going to be playing, and then is it going to be a teacher? Will he be like a young Robbie Robinson, maybe working at the paper, at the Daily Bugle, these kinds of things. But either way, it's just cool to see him in there. And then also they cast the guy who plays Guilfoyle on Silicon Valley. I can't remember his real name. It's escaping me right now, but they cast him too, so it seems like they're really kind of stacking. Martin Starr. They're stacking this towards the comedy side, on some level. So that's it's going to be light. It's going to be fun. I guess is where we're going to take from these castings really at this stage.
Yeah.
Because we don't know who.
I find comedic actors. It's a lot easier for comedic actors to adapt to dramatic roles than vice versa.
It seems to be because trying to find where the funny lands is a different kind of sell, in a moment. Like, whereas, since in comedy, you 9 times out of 10 have to play it straight anyway, like to make a joke land.
Right.
Most comedies at least built that way. That seems to be the ease of it. You know what I mean?
Well, you're when you're building comedy, you're pulling emotional strings.
Yeah.
So you understand emotions and how to portray them by default, because if you're doing comedy at some point, you're doing it on stage or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
you're probably using everything. You're using everything, even by trying to just sell the fact that you're crying, you're sad. Like, you still have to make that seem real. Like, you're always using everything. Whereas if you're just playing straight and not doing comedy.
Right. So you just got to take the funny out of the equation.
Yeah.
And you got serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So up next, in the other stuff. Now we're into other stuff. What could be lying in the other department?
All right. Well, a university study
science
has proven which superhero is the strongest.
Wait a minute. Which university?
Okay. This is the University of Leicester in the UK.
That's a real place?
Yes.
The UK?
The United Kingdom.
I thought it was just UK. Like we just ook.
So
that's the weather.
True.
So for all our friends in the UK, Mr. Hughes over in Scotland, this is your tuition dollars at work here, and definitely they've studied these fictional characters, and come to the conclusion that Superman is the most powerful superhero.
Really?
Because he has the most powers out of everybody, and is top of the charts in almost every one.
So I guess out of 10 superheroes, he's the strongest.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't presume that this is everybody.
Yeah, no. So the superheroes who were involved in this study were Superman, Wolverine, Mystique, Thor, The Flash, Spider-Man, Batman, the Lizard, Iron Man, Black Bolt, and Silver Surfer, and Iceman.
Black Bolt.
Yes.
Wow, really digging deep. Somebody was like, we have to show the nerds. We're really nerds. Stick Black Bolt in there.
Well, because he has high energy output and explosive powers.
Yeah, but it's not. Well, this is not a thing put together with any kind of nerds consortium.
So
being,
what about
being
if you're gonna include bad guys, because there's at least one bad guy on there?
Yeah.
Why don't you include Galactus?
Well, that's the thing. It's like they put Silver Surfer in there.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious. I'm not saying, hey,
Silver
he's
Surfer
not,
was
but I'm
Galactus.
curious as to how that stacks up
Yeah.
for them. What they break that down with. Because it's like, I thought he was pretty fucking...
Yeah, he could pretty much do whatever the hell he wanted with cosmic energy.
Well, basically, that's what I was kind of thinking, was that between of that list, I would think he'd put up the hardest fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of easy to not put him against the Hulk either. Because, Hulk is strongest one there is. And the madder Hulk gets, the stronger Hulk gets. I mean, that's just two basic things. I mean, But, all right. I mean, I guess maybe in the UK, this is acceptable. And
that someone's getting a college degree because of this.
Yeah,
this is
fair enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about the list itself.
Yeah.
They got a university.
It's
Okay.
like, why don't they have like Jubilee in there?
You know what this makes me?
I mean?
You
The
know what
university funded
Dazzler.
a study to do the things that we do just
This
in
is-
our normal everyday lives.
Thank you for saying it just like
every
that,
week.
because you set me up. This is making me question every study from a university I've ever heard or will ever hear. My question is going to be from now on, well, how many people did they have in the study? It's going to be, I'm going to digest, I'm going to break this down in the way that I broke down the stupid comic book
I'm really
one.
hoping this isn't a state school.
Oh, well, I'm not sure how that runs over there.
Sorry.
Socialist government, so I think it's a free school.
The UK's not socialist.
Well, isn't it?
No, it's not.
No, it's a monarchy.
It's a constitutional monarchy.
It's communism.
all right, on paper.
It's communism. They have a ruler.
Sorry.
It's communism.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That was political.
Oh my
ad.
God.
Get
Oh my
out
God.
there
Did I
for
get
a
pulled into it
second.
too? I was making shit up.
We're gonna
though.
have to reel that back.
Ed knows stuff. I just make shit up.
All right, E3.
Okay, E3. We have a little bit from E3 this week.
Yes.
Just a tiny bit that Microsoft has announced its next Xbox console. Officially, we have a little bit of the specs. Ed, read it off, and then we'll see if that's any good.
There's actually going to be 2 new consoles, right? Because there's a new Xbox One that's more powerful.
Yes.
And that's the one you're talking about?
Yes, and then Xbox One S.
Right.
And
then
there's a thing called Project Scorpio.
Yes, that's the other one.
Yes, which
All
will
right, so
be.
Ed, read off because it's not too long, but
All
you're
right,
gonna hit us all with the
so-
teraflops and shit. So hit us with some specs.
This
real
is
quick.
from Newsarama. So
Fair enough.
Here we go. I'm just going to read straight the article. Microsoft has announced a new VR-powered console codenamed Project Scorpio at E3 2016, according to Engadget. Described by the tech giant as the most powerful console ever.
Did they say it that excitedly?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
It will be compatible with all Xbox One and Xbox One S games
Ooh.
and accessories, but will be optimized with quote unquote true 4K resolution and quote unquote high quality VR.
Right.
The quotations are important.
Yeah, no,
virtual
that's
reality.
actually important to Microsoft, and I'm sure Microsoft is making sure for those points because right now the current Xbox One is getting a hard time because it can't play all games at true 1080.
I see. I see. Okay.
They came up a little short in that department.
The console will run at 60 hertz with 6 teraflops of GPU power, but it's not known what the VR headset will be. Microsoft announced a partnership with Oculus Rift at 2015's E3, but they weren't mentioned in this week's announcement. It's unclear if Project Scorpio is the name of the actual console or merely a placeholder.
I'm hoping it's a placeholder. Although Project Scorpio is probably more interesting than a lot of other things these things get
Or maybe
named.
if it was just Xbox Scorpio.
Yeah, or just Scorp. Just Scorp-E-O. How about that? For entertainment outrigging or something. But no, I thought there was some kind of cool shit. I think there's a lot of the backwards compatibility is nice to hear about always.
That was big for them also because there was a big issue when they announced that the original Xbox One wasn't going to have backwards compatibility.
Right. I
mean, it got swept under the rug because PlayStation wasn't doing it really either.
Right. People kind of forgot about it a little bit.
Yeah, so it was like, well, it's just they're playing the same old games.
Yeah.
But now, Xbox is second in the race.
So they're looking for a way to.
Yeah. And with the whole VR thing coming, I guess they figured we have to come out with a new generation early.
Yeah.
Which is pissing me off because I just paid like $400 for mine like a year ago.
That's always the way, though. I feel like that's every
and
single
now
time
the new
I buy a
one, which is
console.
better than the one I'm getting, the one I have, is $299. The upgraded version of the current game system.
Right. Yeah.
Is $299.
Yeah.
It's more powerful. It does 1080.
That hurts.
Yeah.
It's got HDMI 2.0 instead
Sure.
of 1.0.
It's everything's upgraded and it's less price than you ever paid.
Right.
It happens to me.
I
It's happened to me
expected that
too,
they would
sure.
make a smaller one and it would be the same power because that's
Right.
been the norm.
Yeah. Right. This is like.
So I'm
oh,
like,
we-
okay, if I'm gonna get in early, I have to suck it up.
Sure.
Not like this though.
Right.
And then just to find out there's gonna be another console like another year later.
Yeah.
Why even bother buying the new Xbox One?
Right.
This is why I didn't
Right.
buy a
This
Blu-ray
is-
player till like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
now,
right now that's basically what I have is a $400 Blu-ray player.
yeah, basically that mine's a
That doesn't quite do 1080.
yeah, mine's a $400 Netflix machine basically at this point. Lately, maybe one day I'll finish that Batman game.
There you go.
All right, so then from there, you're gonna have to break me down on this one. Ed.
All right,
I don't know if I want to smell like a Jedi.
Well, Lifestyle Perfumes is giving you that option.
Oh,
They are
okay.
announcing a line of scents for both men and women
Oh,
based on Star Wars.
okay.
Now,
Okay,
I
so
got
what does
I,
outer space on film smell like?
Do they have Wookiee? Can I smell like a Wookiee?
I got 3 options here.
Okay.
I will read the full descriptions
please do.
for one of them.
Oh, okay.
So, do you want to hear about Empire for men, Jedi for men, or Amidala for women?
I feel like I know where the Amidala for women's gonna go. Let's go Empire for men.
Empire. Okay. Empire covers you with an aura of masculinity and power.
Ooh.
A scent that captures the dark side of the Force, mystical, formidable, and superior.
Ooh.
It starts with a sparkle of fruity notes from lime and apple,
Wait a minute.
powerful chords of amber, patchouli, and tonka bean characterize the powerful heart and bass note that refine the composition. The result is a distinctive, oriental, seductive fragrance, perfect for the night, made for men, which one better does not get in the way of.
What was that a Yoda thing at the end? Did it throw you off? Was there?
Made for men, which one better does not get in the way.
Oh, it is a Yoda thing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. Is tonka bean from Dagobah? Like, where do I get tonka bean? Is that like in Kessel Run? Do I get that? I got to the Kessel Run to
Me
get that.
thinks that you smell bad.
Misa say you stink.
Yeah, you want another weird thing? That
Yeah.
is scent nerds are furious with you right now.
There are
No, it's basically brute.
there are perfume purists out there who are
you-
angrily writing me emails right now.
You have no idea.
Send them too.
Basically, it's brute for Vaders.
They think this is a whole mockery of their industry.
Oh, I'm sure they do. They do not like this. This is all some kind of
By the way,
orchestration by the Sith.
I know it's pronounced patchouli. I don't know why I said that.
I don't even remember how you pronounced it, except that
I
you
think I said
mispronounced it.
patchouli.
Hey, big difference. All right, and then we got a story that's I feel like is a fun one. A woman faces charges for drop kicking a cake, a Batman versus Superman
Birthday cake.
birthday cake. Do you got the blow by blow that I heard last night?
You want me to do that again?
I thought the setup on that was funny. I thought it was,
All right, here we go. All right, ready? We're hearing a lot of Ed
I
telling
haven't had
stories
this,
today.
so I'm going to listen quite carefully now.
All right.
All right.
On Saturday at about 2 p.m., a woman went into a Kroger store in Bloomfield Township, Michigan.
dun, 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 dun. Michigan.
To pick up a custom-made Batman v Superman birthday cake she had ordered for her 7-year-old. When she arrived at the bakery section and inspected the cake, she told the bakery employees she wasn't satisfied with how it turned out.
All right, dial down the fucking.
All right. She reportedly went behind the counter and attempted to fix the cake herself.
Of course, because that's what you do.
Even though employees told her she wasn't allowed back there.
Aw.
This angered the customer, and she brought the cake to the front of the counter and drop-kicked it, sending cake debris across the whole bakery section.
Right.
Officers spoke with the woman who told police she was upset about the poor quality of the decoration. She said she went behind the counter because employees told her she could.
Oh.
And denied kicking the cake.
Fair enough.
Saying it fell out of her hand.
And she tried to catch it with her foot, and then that's why it went everywhere.
A witness told police she threw the cake to the ground, stepped on it several times, and yelled, "They fucking ruined my 7-year-old's birthday cake!"
Which I believe so much more. Lady.
She's now facing disorderly conduct charges and has been issued a ticket to appear in court.
Oh.
Now, gentlemen, you two have both worked in the food service industry. Does this sound like a typical day to you?
Not typical day.
Not typical, but possible.
But highly possible and not surprising.
Have you seen Clerks?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all true, basically. But, yeah, man, let me tell you something. I'll stab a motherfucker for coming behind the counter. I'm not even kidding. Like, even at my job now, like if you, it's not food, but if you come behind the counter, like I'll like step to you. I'm like, who told you to come back here? Who told you could? Oh, I just gotta use the bathroom. I'm like, did you ask to use the bathroom? I didn't hear you ask anybody. What? But I just gotta go. I'm like, well, then you ask like a grown adult if I can use the bathroom, and then when it's time, I will say yes.
Yeah, but it's right there.
I don't care, old man. I don't care how small your bladder is.
I gotta go.
Well, then now you're gonna guess what? I hope you have a Snapple bottle in the car. Get out of here. Hope you got a fucking big Gatorade jug sitting somewhere that you can fill up. Because you ain't using mine now, jerk off. That's what you get. That's what you get. You don't come behind the counter without asking. You get stabbed for that.
Bob, have you ever dealt with people like this?
Co-workers like me? Yeah, as a matter of fact.
Here's my brother.
I was more talking about
the cake
we
lady?
do live together.
Yeah, that's true too. Good thing we stay out of each other's way.
I was more talking about this woman in Michigan.
The Michigan cake lady.
Yeah, you hear about stuff like this, but I've actually seen stuff like this, but not like to this kind of not this kind of extreme.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Some people just lose it when they
are told no.
You know, is that she probably has like done so much work to set this party up.
Oh yeah. She's at a breaking point
in weeks.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? And here it is, probably minutes from the party.
Yeah.
And she's not happy with the cake.
And let me tell you something.
And she probably got bitched at her by her mother or other people involved in helping set up the friggin' party.
Probably a million little things going wrong all day.
She's probably had a bad day on top of it.
And now she gets the cake and a stupid sheet that they print out that is just icing that all they had to do was lay it on there nice and neatly is fucked up or it's askew or it looks like shit probably. And obviously, maybe she broke.
Hey, maybe it was done by hand. Maybe Batman's yellow wings were crooked. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All
all these colors are wrong. Well, sorry, Larry. That's the cake.
Maybe they spelled, with the state of some people these days, maybe they spelled Michael wrong.
I like the idea that she came back there like she was gonna fix it though. Like she was just gonna be like, "Give me that piping bag. I'm gonna make the little furly, curly things along the side with the icing. Thank you. Squeezing the little tube bag.
Which you gotta train for like a whole week to do that.
Yeah, that's just not exactly. You don't start whipping that out.
She's perfectly equipped to do all that, right? I mean, after all, she watches Rachel Ray.
I mean, yeah. All you gotta do is see it on TV. I mean, everything's easy.
Rachel Ray, was it The Chew?
Anything. I could build a house. I watched Bob Vila for like 20 minutes walk around and talk to people. I know that I can build a house now.
Yeah. All you need is a nail gun and a couple of pieces of wood.
Oh, shit. Not much? I can't do it then. All right, so then that's going to wrap up the news. Oh, no, you got one in the reboot report.
We got a reboot report.
We do have a reboot report. Steven Spielberg's working on well, he says it's not going to die, basically. He's not going to leave it alone. He's still, I didn't even realize this was the thing, but he hasn't given up on remaking West Side Story.
Yeah.
Not that that's in my wheelhouse, West Side Story. Because I already know that when you're a jet all the way, and that's all I needed to know.
That's all you need to know.
That's it. The rest of the movie's inconsequential. And people who come to America love to live in America. That's why they keep coming. But
I like to be in America.
is that how it goes? I
I
don't
like to be in America.
I thought it was I like to live. But I don't know because
No, it's the broken English part. That's the whole point of it.
I got you.
I like to be in America.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right, I like it. I like it. Subdued racism.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah, that's the Spanish accent as done by a bunch of young white people.
And the joke
Thank you.
in the 40s.
The joke I cracked when I read the story is, the only reason to remake this movie is to do it with actual Puerto Ricans.
Right, exactly. To finally actually use people who are from the area.
Yeah, because that was, in the original movie was made, I think it's 1960 or 61. Natalie Wood played Maria.
Right. Well, who else are you gonna get at the time? A real woman named Maria?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. We'll never make that film.
Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting is evidently
It's the same industry that had John Wayne play Genghis Khan.
Fair enough.
Tony Kushner of Lincoln and Angels in America fame is writing the screenplay.
All right.
Which is weird to think that for a musical for them to
need a new screenplay.
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't get. How come when they do remakes, they don't ever just get the old script and say, but it's going to work from that script? Especially with something as lauded as this, maybe. Do new sets, new actors, maybe new routines. Don't change the fucking songs and update the songs, goddammit, because that's coming.
I have an answer for you.
Oh, okay.
It's a Writers Guild thing.
I know it is. I know it is.
Because
that's why writers change names of characters when they do new drafts, so they can still get paid in case another guy comes after them.
Well, also because if you don't change enough of that original product,
then you don't get credit at all.
Not even that, but the original person, like the original writer, if it's not changed enough, that person can get a screenplay credit.
Oh, sure. Well, you didn't fucking change enough, so I'm still going to get paid. And that's the funny thing is that even though you do change, quote unquote, enough, it's really not that much where it's like, oh, you rewrote it so much now, I'm not on it anymore. I feel like the guy who wrote the original draft, I don't care what his name is, should be getting fucking a piece of that forever. Up the ladder in a minute. Well, it's a whole different thing. But so I guess we can look forward to the Steven Spielbergification of West Side Story.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
I don't know either.
It's an odd fit.
Think so.
Yeah,
it's an odd.
Has he ever done a musical?
I don't think it's something that needs to be redone. And
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I feel like in his hands,
right.
that's better than hearing other people might be behind the scenes.
If it was a movie that ended up being poorly received based on a phenomenal play.
Right, okay, yeah. It wasn't it didn't get a good movie version.
Maybe, you know what? Then you could do that over.
You could say there was a need.
Yeah,
right.
there was a need. But there's really not a need here. This may have been a childhood dream of his. Or it might be just something that's pure ego.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't think it needs to be done. I don't think it should be done.
And also to give us a little bit of perspective, they're calling this a pet project. He's had the rights to this for 15 years. So this may just be something...
Someone asked him about it, and it's I'm still going to get to that one of these days kind of a thing. Yeah. I hired a guy to kind of give it another pass.
Yeah, no, it's Spielberg. It's not like it's Ridley Scott, who's attached to 50 movies at any one point in time.
Right, fair enough. Right.
But don't be surprised if you never see this.
Fair enough. All right. So that's going to wrap us up for the news stuff. We're going to jump into email, but... I'm going to let you know now, folks. It's just Ed Mail this week. It is only Ed Mail. All we ever got was Ed Mail. This week it's nothing but some Ed Mail.
We got to make up for something.
I guess. Well, we do have one that last week I accidentally kicked into the trash.
You son of a bitch.
And then you pulled it out all covered in ickies. And you brushed it off and you're like, nah, man, it's still good. We're gonna there it is. Like in one of those hazmat bags. Like the decontamination thing suit I need.
Oh, sound effects. All right.
There you go.
Gentlemen.
Sir.
And I think this was the one question from last week that you guys probably could have answered because all my questions had weird contexts.
Okay. How unusual.
Gentlemen, would you feel more stable working for Lexcorp or Oscorp?
Probably Lexcorp. Because Lex is usually always involved in Lexcorp. Oscorp's gone through several people's hands, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know a lot of the history of Lexcorp either.
And I'm going to be realistic here, and I'm going to say that chances are if I'm at either one of these companies, I am janitorial staff or custodial staff, however they phrase it, or some probably much more PC term than that. And
thus probably one of the smartest people in the place. Because
I'm sticking.
nobody's messing with you.
But you're doing a lot of cleanup in that place, man. There's a lot of mopping and sweeping of glass.
Yeah, you're earning your keep.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. But I'm thinking it's probably either way, it's going to be a union-based gig for me. And if it's not, then whatever. Whoever's got the better package, employee package, I guess, is what it's going to come down to. At my low-level tier.
Are you worried about anything exploding when you're trying to clean something by accident?
Well, here's my thing, is that the only other skill set I got that I feel like I probably bring to that company is some graphic design skills, and I am not working for either one of them in a design capacity because I know I will be doing nothing but redesign. It will just be never ending. The logo will just constantly be in flux. It will always never be good enough, and I'm just not dealing with that, And also, too, people get killed around these guys, If you're in the lab,
that's what I'm saying.
And some freaky thing happens, they don't get killed. Usually they turn into the killer, but if they don't, either way, like it's always the lab guys who die and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Bill, there's a lot of bad people that go in and out of that bathroom in those places too. If you're in there cleaning,
oh my god,
and you get word of the wrong thing.
I don't want to. You think you clog the toilet? What do you see with the Green Goblin drops?
I don't think any union's going to help you at that point.
Right, stepped right on my line. Stepped right on my fucking line.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It probably wasn't that great anyway. All right, so I think we pretty much covered that. I'm up for anything. Just give me a good deal. Give me a good package.
Gentlemen.
That's what she said. Yeah, sorry.
Have any of you ever had dreams that involved Saturday morning cartoon characters?
I might have.
I'm going to say no.
I think I've told the story before on here, but I did have...
Maybe Speed Boogie.
Yeah? I did have a nightmare I'll never forget. Oh, wait, no, I did. Spike from Tom and Jerry, the dog. All right, so I had this dream once where I'm little, right, and I'm with Dad, and we are at like some kind of carnival or fair kind of thing, and I look over, and it's Spike, right, but it's the shitty 50 Cent, right outside, like you'll see him outside of like a pharmacy or some kind of store like that, or outside the supermarket, like you put 50 cents in, you ride it, and all it does is go
okay.
wang, 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 right? And then but it was Spike the dog, and he was making like the growl face, and my father was like, "Oh, you want to ride it?" I was like, "No, no way, definitely not." No, I was like petrified of it, which really didn't make any sense because whatever. But he was all angry looking and stuff like that. And when we turned around to walk away, he chomped me right on the ass, like he would chomp like a character in the cartoon, like that big chomp, like you hear the horn and everything. It woke me right the fuck up. I'll never forget it.
There you go.
That's my one for a Saturday morning cartoon.
All right, gentlemen.
Sir.
What is the most cringeworthy injury you have seen a fictional character survive? Live to tell the tale.
I'm going to say...
Donnie's arm.
That's pretty.
Oh God! Oh.
That's a pretty recent one. Oh. Yeah. What's great about that is like they don't show you the break, but there's a point right after it where you can see it in frame.
You can see the bones.
Yeah, you see the bone. At first, I thought it was like a finger. I didn't realize what it was at first. I was like, "Ooh, what's that?"
I knew right away.
Ooh, that's a bone.
It was that slightly off-white sticking up.
Ed's making that face like he might be shitting himself.
That's why I stopped reading the comic. That's right
not
there.
The reason. That's not the reason. It's not even in the comic.
By the way, can we since we mentioned Preacher and we mentioned Donnie? Can I mention real quick that maybe we made a little mistake last time on the last show, The Preacher? When we were talking about I said something about there was no Donnie.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's
I
sidetrack.
found out as soon as we went off air, I started reading it. And then the sixth book.
There's like a side character.
And there's the side character that's Donnie.
That's basically like just some hick.
That's his name, and he gets he's someone that ends up becoming abused by Jesse.
Fair enough.
Just like Donnie
on the TV show. What were you going to say, Ed?
No, I was going to move on to the next question. What I meant was those kinds of moments are why I kind of like had a rough time with the Preacher comic book.
But the thing that I'll go back to the question on the email is him getting hit with the mallet in Misery when she clips his foot.
Yeah.
She gives him the hobbling. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
you ever read
And
the
that's
book?
that's a tamed down version of what's in the book.
Yeah,
so.
'cause in the book she chops that fucking thing off.
Yeah.
And his thumb, and then cauterizes it with a blowtorch. Nice. It's real loving. She's a good fan. Big fan. big fan.
Good person.
Yeah.
All
Loving.
right.
A lot of love in her heart.
It's all around.
It's all for you, Annie. It's all for you.
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Sir.
what are the chances Matt Murdock will face off against Jennifer Walters in a courtroom scene of season 3 of Daredevil?
0.
Damn.
Yeah.
But it would be a cool bon mot. It would be a cool thing if it was just Jennifer Walters, not the She-Hulk, but
that's what
just
I'm
Jennifer
saying.
Walters. It's just a random, legal case up against this other lawyer, and it's, it's Jenny.
And then
Brunette with some sunglasses
Yeah,
on walks
yeah.
in there. Briefcase.
Badass bitch.
someone makes a crack about her cousin, but it's never answered.
Well, here's the thing, too. I don't know how much you might remember this because you don't really get to see She-Hulk in her true form, but she's more of a mouse. She's more of a mousy girl, shorter, petite. Or at least that's the way I recall it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she's very
Glasses, bob haircut, like, not you, Bob, but I mean, like, bob cut.
Well,
And
I read the original comic.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you ended up passing those on to me.
Okay, right on the
Savage
cover
She-Hulk,
was
yeah.
Savage She-Hulk. You see a very small Jen
Yes.
Walters and a very gigantic She-Hulk.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, it's made pretty clear that
she's wee. She's very wee.
she's a very
wee
petite lady being turned into a 7-foot giant.
So that's my thing. If they did cast her, like, you would need, a pixie, type, little thing, which should, because that's the kind of interesting contrast of it. Is like, you know what I mean? Oh, she's, you would think they would get some tall,
No.
monster type lady who's already like 7.5 feet tall, kind of a thing. But yeah, look, it would be cool. It would be cool. It would be cool. I don't know if they'll ever do it. I hope so. I hope there's no rumor milling about that. But anything else? What do you got?
Last question.
Last one.
Oh,
Is it finally time for Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks to do a movie together?
maybe they could both explode together.
I'm kind of surprised. Almost surprised like they haven't in a way. But yeah. I mean, I don't know what the hell they could do together. I think you get Tom Cruise and
I don't know. Tom Cruise is
I
kind,
think
of, kind of painted himself as more of an action hero.
I was just gonna say, I think what they need to do is they need to do 2 movies together. One movie that's more Tom Cruisey, and one movie that's more Tom Hanksy. And then
maybe they could remake Twins.
Fair, I'll take it.
And
Something like that.
Tom Cruise could be, he could have the Arnold role, but he could be the short guy.
Because
Well, you know what? Tom Cruise hasn't played a mentally challenged person yet. Really, I don't think. He's been in those movies.
Do we know that he's not currently?
Well, I wasn't gonna get into that. I mean, but it's true. It is worth considering.
No. Well, he didn't do it. He didn't do it in a movie. He
didn't go full.
He did it on TV on an episode of Oprah.
That's true.
right.
That's true.
That's
That's true. He did go off the meds one afternoon.
Yes.
But I was thinking like, what if you flip Rain Man around and it's like, now at this age of having maybe a brother or a sibling or a family member who's a little challenged.
See, but that's the thing. Like, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. Like he's.
We don't do that with Tom. Oh, it doesn't. Or it just doesn't work.
Or
maybe he's too Tom. He's too Tom Cruise to do something like that. Now.
That's the thing.
We'll never buy it.
Is like he doesn't. It's very rare. Very, very rare.
That he buries himself
when he will disappear. There are only 2 examples I can think of.
Okay.
Which are Collateral,
and Outsiders
and Tropic Thunder,
and whatever his first movie was.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
And I wish he would do more movies like that.
Oh my God. Do I wish he would. I wish he would just, because you can almost feel like Tom Cruise might be a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously, or at least that he gets why other people can't. So he feels almost like a guy who'd be willing to play ball with that more often. And it's like, dude, you just gotta get loose with it and let yourself be joked on.
And he's doing a lot of action and sci-fi movies for the last few years.
He's got a comedy, man.
And like you feel like he's get that sense of I think he gets that sense with his age. I only have this body for a certain amount of time, so I've got to get as much out of it as I can.
It seems that way
before I get to. And like Tom Hanks is a little bit past that, where he's just like he's America's dad.
Yeah, and I'm looking to slow. Tom Cruise is like, another Langdon movie? Yeah. I can't keep running. Can we walk to these places? I have to run from building to building. But
he does that. He does ask for a motorcycle in every movie now.
That's fair enough. He's in a golf cart in this one, I think. I think he's on one of those little rascal scooters the grandma's got.
You do a
with the
little
basket.
three-wheeler.
Yeah, a little basket on front. Ming, ming. But, yeah, Tom Cruise should just be more funny. Like, that's my... Tom, if you're listening, that's a official show recommendation. Be more funny. Don't be afraid to be funny. Because he'll do funny moments inside of his things.
Yeah.
He can get funny reactions. He can do double takes. He can do shit like that. The basics.
Well, that's
you know what I mean.
Kind of how he got his start with Risky Business.
That's what I was gonna say. Was that like early in his career, things tended to be a little bit lighter in tone, or he played characters that were less serious.
Yeah.
Like even in Top Gun, he's kind of like palsy-walsy to a degree with a joke and shit. I'm not saying it's all funny. It's probably corny as hell now.
He's still a cocky cocksucker in that movie.
Yeah. But
teeth gnashing and shit. Like
when you think of the 80s and 90s, like they were a much more mainstream version of this. But I think those guys were two sides of a different coin.
Oh yeah,
I think
sure.
seeing them to get together would be very much what it was like seeing De Niro and Pacino get together.
Right. What do you? Is there any idea of what? I don't know. What could they be in? What could we do with them? I mean, if Tom and Tom are in the room, what do we tell them?
Step Brothers too.
Something with the conjoined twins or something.
I don't know what they do, but I want to see them work together. It's like
I'll take a movie where they're at odds. I'll take a movie where they're where they're two different, not related or
like,
something. Where they're
I can see a courtroom drama.
I want them. You know what I want? I want them both. I want them both in the full movie adaptation. This is gonna get nerdy. Of Seduction of the Innocent, which is what I've been dreaming of. Would be a great movie, and I know now I want them to.
Are you saying Hanks is worth them?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess so. I guess probably by looks and by age that would fit more.
If Tom Cruise is Jack Kirby, I'm in.
All right, I'm sold too. I'm sold because I'm in my head. I'm like, Tom Cruise is like tiny. Like, who are we gonna have him play? And I can just see him now with that Kirby haircut, trying hard to sell it with the cigars and stuff. Oh, so bad. It's so horrible. But
maybe he could be the next Wolverine while we're talking.
If we're gonna go height accurate,
he seems immortal.
he seems immortal. He likes the action stuff. He'll get ripped. He'll stop eating for you.
Yeah. And evidently he was the main pick for Iron Man. Like in the late
that's like the dream
in the late '90s, early aughts. It was gonna be. It was. There
was talk. I think.
Gonna do. Yeah,
there was a thing on his table.
But like he didn't want to wear the mask.
That was. I guess it probably really stems from him and maybe even Keaton. But I think it really comes from agents. This whole thing where like don't want to wear the masks. The mask it's gonna cover his whole face.
Yeah. Well,
it could cover 3/4. 3/4 though. Can't we just have a scene where by the end of the movie it just comes completely off? And that's like every movie. Like it feels like has to have a reveal of the face to everybody who already knows it. So it's not. It's just about getting more face time. And it's like. Yeah. Unless you're doing a fucking stunt, why do I have to know that I know that you're under there? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the only one who got away with that was Carl Urban in Dredd because the actor just said "fuck you," and I think that movie's box office didn't help that theory.
No, but I mean, what's the thing? In the end, that ends up being. As an adaptation goes, one of the more consistent comic book adaptions out there. Whereas, like the character is spot on, the whole look, feel, and what they managed to pull off is totally commendable, and it's underrated for shit. Sure.
Oh, it's a crying shame that more people haven't
Oh
seen
my
that
God,
movie.
you know what I mean? I want more. All right, I think we're at the wall here, guys.
I think it's about it.
I think we kind of hit the wall.
Yeah.
If we had a little bit more email, maybe people will feel bad for us and send some in next week.
Fucking bummer.
Podcast at wickedtheory.com. That is where you can send them to.
I do it every day.
Well,
almost
every day, at least 4 or 5 days out of the week, and it's really nice of you. By the way, just want to say thanks for that.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You go fuck yourself. All right. Does that feel like a little more realistic of a response from me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a douche.
All
right. So, folks, if you want to check us out anywhere else, really, you can hear other episodes of this show at iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music. You can find episodes online at wickedtheory.com. Also, Ed, where can people find you on Twitters, I think, right?
I am at Edward O'Hare, TBD.
TBD. Bob, people can find you at Bob WTPC.
Yes.
That's correct. I got to write this down. A little Gold star for me. You can find me at Wicked Theory on the Twitters if you want to do that. You ain't got to do that, but that'd be cool if you did do that. And then come back next week. That's even more important. Bob, take us the flock out of here.